Action. All right, here we go. We are March 19th. It's Thursday. It's time to put the PlayStation down because I'm giving you 4 problems. And if you can't handle 4 problems, then you have 1 problem, and that's me. Big problem. So you better handle these 4 real life situations. Otherwise, I may also sick my dog on you. Don't make me do it. So today, you go out. What's your story? All right, today we are going to solve multiplication of fractions. That's right. Yesterday we estimated, so we haven't forgotten how to estimate. We're going to use that today to see if our answers are looking sharp. But we're going to actually solve multiplication of fractions. And you know what? That's right. We're going to do it hipster style. I drew a little mustache for you little hipsters right there, okay? And then I just learned the other day what OG style means. It means original gangsta. So we're going to original gangster some math. We're going to do it hipster style. I have no idea what that means. But you'll see. You'll see how the video goes, okay? So we've got 2 situations we're going to look at today. And then tomorrow we're going to do situation C. So for those of you that are all like, I watched all the videos you sent me already and I did my homework. Chill. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Just show off a little bit, okay? Do your work. Post them in the comments. And show off, dude. Okay. So, first of all, the first situation that we need to discuss is dog barf, okay? Now, if you have a cat, if you're a cat person, then maybe you don't understand this. But maybe you do, actually, because cats do a lot of barfing. But if you got a dog, you completely understand this situation. This is a real life situation. It is serious. It needs to be quarantined. It's big time stuff, okay? So I'm talking about dog barf. So I'm going to give you a situation. I want you to think about if this is it or not, okay? So imagine that your dog barfs up 3/5 of its dinner 6 times in a row. Like, so you feed it, like you go out and you buy this dog that you love, like primo dog food. I'm talking like you got to get it in the little cooler case. It looks like all human food. It's all beautiful. And the dog still barfs it up. Like, not all of it. It eats 2/5 of it, okay? But 3/5 of it, it barfs up. And just imagine it does that 6 times in a row. You'd be kind of upset, right? I mean, you might even not think of it like a multiplication problem. You might think of it like, dude, you just barfed up 3/5 and you just barfed up 3/5 again. And yeah, there you go. Did it again. Oh, there's another barf I got to pick up. Great. Okay, there's another barf. And then, yeah, okay, well, let's just put there's not even enough room for all the barfs. So there it is, 6 groups of 3/5. How do you deal with all that, right? I mean, it's nasty. As you know that when you add up fractions, you leave the bottom denominator the same. Why? Because it's not a number. It's the size of the piece. That's right. These are little pieces of barf. Like, imagine little carrots in there. I mean, anywho, when you find out how many fifths the dog barfed up, it turns out it's a lot. It's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 6 times, and that is 18 fifths this dog is barfing. Now, I should not have to teach you this to change this back to a mixed number, but if you forgot, just remember this is always the division line. So 18 divided by 5 is going to give me 3. Don't laugh at me. 3 3/5. I better double check that. My son's laughing at me. I better double check that. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 3 is 18. 18/5, so it still works. But you know, here's my problem, right? So I'm solving this. It's all easy. Some of you are going to tell me that, hey, I can just put a 1 across like that and you can multiply across. So you're going to tell me all that stuff, which is super easy. But you know what? You need to estimate, and that's what we're going to do today in our Try Me's, okay? Don't just solve it. And if you want to write it out like this, that's great. Add up all the dog barfs. If you don't want to go anywhere near them, you just want to think, oh, I got 3/5, 3/5, 3/5, and multiply whatever works for you, okay? But when you estimate, please make sure you're thinking about what amount this would actually be. Now watch what I did here, and I want you to know you can do the same thing. Because remember, Ms. Ruinfar taught us it's equal but different. Did you notice how I switched them? Yeah. And that's not really cool because this is actually a totally different thing. This is saying my dog barfed up 6 meals all at one time. And I have to find out how much 3/5 of that. That's a totally different barf situation, okay? But they're equal. And so because of that, what I can do is I can draw a model like I did yesterday, and I can think that that would be 6 inside. I can show that I can break this into fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I could color in 3 out of the 5. And if I did that, look at that. It's a little bit more than a half of 6. Well, it's a little bit more than a half of 6. That's right. I'm feeling pretty good about my answer. So I'm going to circle it, and then over here I'm going to put an estimate of about 3.5 because I think it's a little bit more than 3. And lo and behold, those are really super close. So I feel really good about it. So if we can zoom in over here, this is what I want you to try on in your work today, okay? I want you to solve this one, solve this one. Now I know you're going to be tempted right away to go back to multiplication, but I want to encourage you to try to write out the addition of it. If some of you see cross cancelization, that's great, but make sure you try other things. And then your challenge today is to make sure you estimate each, just like I did. Estimate each. Make sure you estimate before you circle your answer. I'll expect to see that in your work. Cool? Okay, one more we're going to take a look at over here. Situation B. Situation B. Where'd my Carne Friday size go? Yo. Where'd my carne asada fries go? Yo. Okay, so let's pretend we actually still could go to a restaurant right now, okay? And we could sit down at that restaurant and we could order a huge plate of carne asada fries. Well, let's be honest. If that happened, and let's say after Enrique and Angel Mora, I'm trying to think who else would steal my carne asada fries. Danya, my daughter, my dog. Just about everybody would steal carne asada fries. So I would be left with 1/3 of all my fries, right? And let's say that, again, like yesterday, I had to take a piece of a piece. Let's say I was only left with 3/4 of the piece I originally started with. It's not very cool, okay? So Mr. Courtney is going to eat 3/4 of a third. Now, how do I actually show that, okay? Well, first of all, let's start with the whole plate. There's the whole plate of carne asada fries. I'll show that as one whole carne asada fries, okay? It's dripping with guacamole. It's got sour cream. It's got the real cheese, not the fake cheese from Gilberto's. Gilberto's, I'm calling you out. And let's say that I'm left with 3/4, or excuse me, good. Let's say I'm left with I messed up. You want to know why? Because I don't have 3/4. You know what I got? I got 1/3. Look, I even put a note to myself. This is a famous Hemingway novel, To Have and to Have Not. This is what I have. Should I have drawn it like this? No. So I better go back. Here's my carne asada fries, and what I actually was left with was 1/3. Who's with me? Cool. I'm going to pretend you all said yes. Okay, so I'm left with 1/3. Then, yeah, the bad stuff happens. A bunch of kids show up. And they're like, hey, Mr. Courtney, I want some of your carne asada fries. Hey, Mr. Courtney, carne asada fries. And they make me turn it into 4ths. That's right. And you know what? Guess what I get? I only get 1/4 of the 1/3 that I started with. That's all I get right there. It's so messed up, dude. It's so messed up. And of course, I'm not thinking of how much that is of the piece. I'm thinking of how much did I get out of the whole plate? Because I showed up to eat carne asada fries, and look at what I'm left with. And when I draw my little dashed lines like we practice in class, the situation is dire. Okay, I only have 1 out of 12. I only get 1 out of 12 pieces of the whole thing. And of course, check this out. It totally works. 3/4 times 1/3. I get 3 out of 12. Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Mr. Courtney did it wrong again. And you're right. Totally. Because I thought I got 1/4. But actually I get 3/4. That's right. So now out of the whole thing, I get 3 out of 12. Yeah, but you see what I did? I know my son's laughing at me, but guess what? I had a model and I checked it with the math. That's right. So I made a mistake and I made a second mistake, but you know what? I haven't made 3 mistakes yet, so I'm still not out. I'm still rocking it. Here we go. Okay, so, but what about a different situation? This time, let's say things are going pretty good, okay? What I have is 4/5. I got 4/5 in my carne asada fries. Let's say it was later in the day and all the kids had gone home and nobody knew I was going to order carne asada fries, right? Which never happens. They'd all be like sniffing it out. They'd be like, oh, Courtney's having carne asada fries. Well, let's pretend that happened. And I was like macking on it. Like, this is so good. I would have 4/5. Look at all that carne. I almost had the whole thing. You know? Maybe this was like potato. Potato showed up and ate that right there, right? Michaela, I'm calling you out, okay? So this was the whole carne asada fries, but I got a lot, okay? And let's say that Miss Ritchie showed up. Now, Miss Ritchie is a good friend of mine, and I'm not gonna lie. If Miss Ritchie showed up and she said, hey, Courtney, can I have half of your carne asada fries? You know what? I'm gonna give it to her. I mean, she's cool. I dig her. She's fun. She's my daughter's teacher. She's going to get some carne asada fries. So we're going to break it all up into half. And then this part right here is what I'm going to get because I get a half of all of the 4/5. Now, what part is down here? This is Richie. That's Richie. That's Richie. That's Richie. Can't give that to Richie because it doesn't exist anymore. It's in somebody's belly. So how much does Mr. Courtney actually get? And how much does Richie get? Well, Mr. Courtney gets 4 out of 10. Do you see that? I get 4 out of 10. Okay. And Miss Ritchie also gets 4 out of 10, doesn't she? Okay. And if you look across, you can see that we can just simply multiply across and get 4/10. Now, some of you are going to tell me that's not in simplest form. And you're right. The video is almost over, so what I want you to do is if you see this is not in simplest form, I want you to put it in simplest form, and I have a challenge for you today. If you can put this in simplest form, I also want you to go into the model and see if you can write it in the model as simplest form. If you know what this is in simplest form, what does the model look like? That's your challenge for today, okay? You're going to try these two here. You're going to start with a model, and if you make a mistake, what are you going to do? You're going to redo the model. Yeah, make sure you get a 15-year-old to laugh at you, though, because it's a lot of fun when a 15-year-old laughs at you while you're trying to make a video and you make a mistake. So if you don't have that at home, let me know, okay? We'll hook you up. But try the model, then do the math. Don't do the math first. Do the model first, then do the math. Do the model first, then do the math, okay? Try both of these, and don't forget to estimate. Check this out. 3/4 of 1/3. Remember, you're getting a piece of a piece, so it's going to get smaller. Same thing here. I'm getting a piece of a piece. So the fraction should be getting smaller and smaller and smaller until there's only 2 carne asada fries left, and your dog eats those, and then guess what he does? He barfs them up. And that's the end of my lesson today. I will see you for writing later. Peace out.